friends, it's Kristine with Queen City Stamp Art, and today I'm popping in to share a video that demonstrates a stenciling technique using the Evergreen Elegance bundle. So this beautiful bundle is offered in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog, and we're going to be using the punch to create a stencil, and then I'm going to show you how to put a fun little card together after we've created the little focal piece. So we're going to be using the punch, and we're going to start by punching out a stencil. So the way that you use this type of punch, this is a border punch. It's a pine tree border punch. It creates this little row of pine trees when you punch it out. We're going to be using it to make a stencil. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put my cardstock in right up against this little edge over here, and I'm going to punch it once. You'll see that when I insert the paper, when I insert the cardstock, I'm making sure that I don't go beyond this particular line, because this will cut out a part of a tree for me, because I want the whole row. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it forward, and I'm going to line up the trees here on this edge with the images that are printed on the actual punch, which makes it really easy to get a nice border. Just going to keep going. And there we go. And now we have a nice little row of pine trees. And that's kind of how you use this punch too. So it's a little demonstration of both. Now that I have these pine trees, I've got my silicone mat here, and I have a blending brush. And I'm going to be taking some garden green ink, and I'm going to place my stencil onto the ink, onto the mat and on my cardstock panel, and I'm going to create a little outline of trees. So I'm just going to ink up my blending brush by rubbing it onto the surface of my ink pad, and then I'm going to start at the base of the trees and just kind of brush up and carry it across the cardstock. And then when I lift up, you'll see that there's a little silhouette of trees. Now I'm going to kind of offset that so that it's not perfectly lined up with the others. And I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to hold it down, and I'm going to start at the base of the trees and just brush up. And I've got another row, and then I'll do it again. This is such a fun little technique, and you can do this with a number of stencils. I love using it with this pine tree punch though. And it's okay that you get a variety of shadowing, because it's going to look cool no matter how you do it. And the lights and darks are what make it extra special, I think. The blending brush is a wonderful tool for this technique, and it works great on the silicone mat because you don't have to worry about getting ink all over your surface. So now we have this finished panel, and it looks really neat. There's a variety of lights and darks, and it creates like this background forest. We're going to use this to make a card, but before we do, I wanted to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to set my stencil aside, and I'm going to take the pine boughs from the stamp set and ink that up in the garden green ink, and I'm going to stamp it so that the image is showing up toward the top of that little panel. Then I'm going to take my soft suede ink and I'm going to stamp a sentiment from the stamp set. On here. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut a little fishtail in the end, like that. And then I'm going to take, and I'm just going to trim this off, straight off, because we don't need quite that much. And then we'll be ready to put the card together. So what a fun technique, right? I just wanted to show you because I have a Facebook group, and I don't know if everyone is part of the group that watches me here on YouTube, but if you would like lots of inspiration and ideas, I post a lot of stuff on my Facebook group. And one of the things we're featuring this month is this evening Evergreen Elegance stamp and punch bundle. So I'm putting a heavy focus on this month, and there'll be tons of samples and all kinds of free tutorials and whatnot in the Facebook group. So if you would like to join, and you're on Facebook, just go into Facebook and search Queen City Stamp Art and ask to join the group. It's a private group, but I'm happy to let you in. And you'll be able to see all of the fun that we're having this month in the group. So one of the cards that I posted earlier this week had to do with, it showed this kind of technique, and I wanted to show you how the card that I showed on Monday was created. So that's how they created that background. So that's a fun little technique that you can use with that punch. And then I'm going to stamp this down on, glue this down onto the card base. And I'm just centering this panel like this. And then I'm going to layer these two pieces together. So I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of this. And I'm just going to layer this on. Like that. And then I'm going to take some linen thread and I'm going to tie a bow on the end. Try this again. And then now I'll just adjust the little tails here. And trim them. And then this little piece is going to pop up off the surface of my card. So I'm going to take some dimensional adhesive. And add this little piece to the card. And I'm just going to do this about a third of the way up, and I'm going to line this little edge up with the green panel, just like that. And then to embellish, I thought I would use some of these beautiful, wonderful gems. And let's see here. I'm going to put one here. And then I'll put a couple of these smaller ones up here. Like that. And that finishes off the card. So you still get to see all that beautiful background that you created, but then this adds kind of a nice focal image to the front of the card. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this fun technique of using the punched out piece as a stencil to create a fun background. And I hope you enjoyed the card for today. Thanks so much for watching.